What if every moment, every morning, you woke up feeling vibrant, energized, and connected to your body, knowing that it was working with you, not against you, to create the life that you've been dreaming of? Imagine the calm, the confidence, and the hope that that comes with. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, because thriving health, energy, and fertility aren't just possible for you, they're your birthright. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Denise. I'm a coach, a neuroencoding specialist, an acupuncturist, a functional nutritionist, and lovingly known as your fertility godmother. I've dedicated my life to helping women move from struggle to success on their path to getting pregnant, staying pregnant, and having a healthy baby without putting life on hold. But more importantly, I'm someone who has spent years walking alongside women and couples in their fertility journeys, and I really get how exhausting, confusing, and even lonely this path can feel. And I'm here to simplify it for you, to help you reclaim your energy, balance, and hope so that your body feels safe and supported. I've been on this journey for over 24 years. It's so crazy to say that, by blending holistic medicine, neuroscience, and functional nutrition to help over 1,500 women bring babies into the world. And it all started with my very first fertility patient, Sue, way back in 2001. She came to me after a year of trying when she was feeling lost, stuck, and hopeless. And together we worked on her body, her mind, her energy. And I'll never forget that day that I walked into that treatment room with her sitting there on the table with her paper gown on and holding her purse in her lap. And she reached in, pulled out a positive pregnancy test and handed it to me. And it just like lit me up. And that's when I knew this was my life's work. And since then, I've made it my mission to support 1 million women like you feel supported, empowered, and hopeful on their fertility journey. Because your body isn't broken, it just needs the right support. And I'm here to guide you every step of the way. So, quick check in. Have you ever found yourself just endlessly scrolling through advice, thinking, I'm doing everything, so why don't I feel better? Why am I not getting pregnant? You're not alone. Today, we're going to cut through that noise and simplify things for you. So we're focusing on 6 things you already do every single day. And here's the magic. When you nudge just one of them, just 1%, your cells start to listen, your hormones respond. You're going to feel that shift in your nervous system. Like these small shifts, they get really big results, especially over time. By the end of today, you're going to have 1 simple breathing technique and 6 daily levers that boost your energy, mood, and reproductive health. And here's the best part. You're going to leave with a 5-minute routine that you can start tonight, because transformation doesn't have to wait. We're going to even do some stuff right here. So this is the thing. There isn't a single injury or condition that we face that can't be supported by better lifestyle and nutrition. I mean, medications can be really helpful, but really the truth is the lifestyle is what's going to generate health, right? If we're taking care of our body and nourishing our body and listening to our body and doing all the right things and less of the things that are harmful for us, we're going to be healthier. We're going to be more vibrant. Our egg quality and sperm quality are going to be healthier. Your uterus, all the things, right? So I want you to know I'm not here to replace your doctor. I'm here to activate your biology so that everything you're already doing works better. Okay, so think of it like this. When you give your body the right inputs, it's going to know exactly what to do. So we talked about the simple truth, right? Health equals energy. And at the cell level, your body is creating energy, right? It creates ATP from those little mitochondria that have thousands, hundreds of thousands in our egg cells of ATP. And when these 3 things, oxygen, nutrients, and a way to move waste out, ATP When we have more ATP, it means having better hormone balance, more energy, quicker healing, and yes, better fertility, better egg quality, better sperm quality, all those things. So having energy is really, really huge. So here's a mantra I want you to memorize. If you didn't memorize it from our last session, go ahead and you can say it with me. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the foods we eat, the thoughts we think, the moves we make, and the words we speak, right? These are the 6 levers that are the foundation for thriving health. Okay, and then a lot of other things come into it, but I really like to assassinate complexity and keep things simple because I want you to be able to do the things. So that's what I'm doing here. So we talked about last time, we talked about how emotions and energy are deeply connected to your fertility. We explored how stress can drain your energy reserves, leaving your body feel like it's in survival mode instead of thriving. We also talked about how willpower fades, but the do power, those are those small daily habits that you condition yourself to do without questioning, without debating, right? That like brushing your teeth. It doesn't take willpower. It's just what you do. It's just who you are. You're somebody that brushes your teeth. So that's what do power is. And that's the kind of do power I want you to build into your health and into your fertility journey. We also talked about how your body is designed to heal when you give it what it needs. It's really not about perfection, right? It's about consistency, these small daily shifts in these 6 areas that create this massive ripple effect over time. Today, we're going to go deeper into the first 2 fundamentals of thriving health. One is the air you breathe, and then we'll connect it to water, the second essential element that are really important for setting the stage for energy, healing, and fertility. These aren't just the nice to haves or the, feel goods, right? These really are the foundation your body leans on every single day to create energy, to balance hormones, to prepare for pregnancy. And it all begins with the simplest act so many of us overlook, and that is the breath. Okay, so first of all, we can live for weeks without food. We can live for days without water, but we only can live 3 minutes without air. Like breath is life, right? It's the number one input that our body needs every moment to create energy. And here's the thing, the way you breathe directly impacts your energy, your hormones, and your fertility. Okay, most of us don't even realize how often we hold our breath or how we are breathing, right? But today is going to change forever because once you have that knowledge and you're going to start to implement it, you can never go back once you know something. It's whether you choose to do it or not. That's the thing, right? So I want you to go ahead and I want you to stand up, or if you can, go ahead and stand up. And I'm just going to take a nice deep breath in and out. In fact, if you're doing this with me, go ahead and put a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly. And I want you just to breathe in, take a nice deep belly breath. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Okay, what am I doing right now when I'm breathing? What am I doing? Breathing in and then out. Well, if you're like most people, you can take a seat. We're going to probably stand back up. But if you're like most people, you're breathing just the way I showed you. And the good news is you're breathing. Okay, that's great. We'll celebrate that. But this is the thing, where the way I was breathing now is the way most people breathe, and that's what we call actually a stress breath. So what happens when we do a stress breath? We take a breath in, could be a shallow breath, could be a deep breath, but we breathe, our chest lifts up, our shoulders lift up, right? Our whole body our head comes back. That's called a stress breath. So I'm going to share with you today probably things you already know, but I just want you to look at it in a little bit of a different way. So we're going to break it down. So imagine your lungs are like these 2 balloons, these 2 big balloons filled with millions of these tiny air sacs. They're called alveoli, And they're like these little fingers that grab oxygen from the air and then they pass it into your bloodstream. So how we get oxygen into our body is through these little alveoli in our lungs. The way our lungs are built is we have a lot of alveoli on the top up here, but we have a lot more, like double or triple, way more on the lower lobes of our lungs. And our lungs are encaged, right? We have the rib cage that wraps around, we have our spine, we have the clavicle here, and then below we have our pelvic bones. I know that doesn't support the lungs, but that's that whole cavity here. And so what happens is when we breathe in, underneath the rib cage is the diaphragm, that muscle. And the only job the diaphragm has to do is it has to pull up and pull down. And when that diaphragm pulls down, it's actually like you can think of it like a little suction. It's pulling air in, right? You can think of it like pulling air in. But this is the thing, we also have all these organs, right below our rib cage and in between that pelvic girdle. So if you're breathing in and you have that diaphragm coming down, where are these organs going to go? Where are they going to go? They can't go back. They can't go to the side. The only place they can go is forward. So what happens is when we do that stress breath, when we breathe in, we pull our stomach in, the diaphragm goes up. Well, the diaphragm technically should be going down when we breathe in, right? And then pushing the air up as we exhale. So if we're breathing in, pulling our belly in, which a lot of us are trained to do, what happens is you're collapsing the lower lobes of your lungs. So you're decreasing your oxygen intake 25%. So you're only getting somewhere between 75 and 50% of the oxygen that your body can use. We're not using the lower lungs here where all those fingers are grabbing the oxygen. So I share this with you because it's really important when I tell you about doing these belly breaths, which we're going to go ahead and do right now together. So what I want you to do is really, this is one of the first things I do with my clients and my patients is teach them how to breathe. And really, we want to focus on doing those nice deep belly breaths. So if you look at a dog, you look at your puppy, you can see how the puppy's breathing with their belly. The belly goes up and it goes down. And if you ever look at a baby, the way they're sleeping, their belly goes up and the belly goes down. But as we age, right, we start to get too much in our head and the breath starts to go up and it can cause tension and all those other things. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to go ahead and put both hands on your belly, or you can put one on your chest as well, because ideally, we don't want your chest to move at all, or we want it to move after your belly moves. So go ahead and put your hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, and go ahead and take a deep breath in through your mouth for the count of 5. Fill your belly up with air like a big balloon. I'm going to have you hold for 5. And I'm going to have you exhale for 5. As you exhale, pull your belly in. Let it just relax. And then I'm going to have you hold for another 5. Then we're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out through your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just keep doing that rhythm. You can do longer as you start to get better at this. You can do 10, 10, 10. This is what's called box breathing. And there's many, many different ways to breathe, but this box breath is something that energizes you and calms your nervous system. A lot of times I'll show people how to do what I call a 4-4-8 breath. And that really is to just only calm the nervous system. So, but I don't want to confuse you. So I would like you to do right now just the box breathing, because that's going to be energizing you and calming your nervous system down. But really start paying attention to your belly breath. And sometimes I'll recommend doing this like in the morning and before each meal, because when you shift into like that rest and digest mode, right, just you calm your nervous system down, you're able to rest and digest your food, right? You're able to rest and reproduce when you're more into that calm, receiving, receptive mode. So the breath is so powerful. And when we do that stress breathing and we're only filling the third of our lungs, we're missing out on all that oxygen rich environment. So can you imagine if you're doing that all day long, right? We're going to have less oxygen, which means less energy. Circling it back to what I was trying to say is that the less oxygen we have, the less ATP. All right. And so ATP, right, again, is that energy spark inside your cells that powers everything, including hormone balance, healing, and fertility. So when we're doing those things, we're going to have more energy. We're going to feel more calm. We're going to feel more present. And you may even notice that when you're doing that box breathing, your body's getting oxygen. You might feel a little lightheaded, right? And that's just your brain saying, oh, thank you, I have oxygen, finally. It's about time. So, so just put a smile on your face and continue breathing, but be in a safe space. I don't want you falling over. So the more oxygen we have, the more cellular energy we're going to have, a clearer mind. It activates the parasympathetic, which again is the rest, repair, reproduce. And we're going to have less of those, midday slumps, or we're going to feel more connected into ourselves, have less headaches. Because again, when we do that stress breath, we're also tightening this whole neck and shoulders area even more. Okay, so your cells are these tiny powerhouses, and oxygen is that match that lights that fire, right? So when oxygen is low, we're going to do like hello stress breath, and your brain's going to shift into low power mode. And that's when we start to worry more. We don't have as much clarity, and our body feels more stuck because it's in survival mode. But when we do have oxygen and nutrients and it's steady, then your mitochondria are happy, right? Because they want to survive. They want to make the energy. We're symbiotic. I know it's kind of funny to think about these little organisms in our body but that are living, but it's a symbiotic relationship. So we give them the oxygen and they give us the energy. And so your hormones, they're going to coordinate better, and your body's going to feel safe to move forward with the healing energy and reproduction. And so this is why your breath matters so much. Like it's literally the spark that fuels everything. Your eggs are packed with mitochondria, hundreds of thousands of mitochondria in those egg cells, those little tiny batteries. They need that oxygen. And another gift that this type of breathing does, just paying attention to your breath, the diaphragmatic breath, is it's really pulls you back into presence. And I think being present is a huge gift. So instead of kind of rushing through your day, caffeinated and distracted and exhausted, trying to push yourself through, it's so beautiful to actually feel the day, right? And presence is really the stuff of life, right? It's what we get to notice, right? The sound of laughter, your partner's smile, the twinkle in your eye or your partner's eye, or like those little details of life that just make it so rich, that make life so rich. Presence doesn't necessarily make life just more beautiful, but it also increases our energy. It improves a relationship. How many times have you talked to somebody and they've been on the phone while you're trying to have a conversation with them? They're not present or they're doing something else. It's frustrating. So imagine being present in your relationships. So presence, this type of breathing can help you with presence. It can help you literally feel happier. So I'm going to have you pause for a moment and ask yourself, how present was I last week? Did you have time to encourage somebody? Were you just blazing past people like they're like a task on a to-do list? How was your presence energy last week? Okay. So presence is energy and it is happiness, and it all starts with a single conscious breath. This all comes back to just being more conscious of our breathing. And we're going to get into the other fun stuff later. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful place to start. So again, that box breath, You can just imagine doing a box. As you breathe in for the count of 5, you're going to hold. Then you're going to exhale for 5 and you're going to hold. And you can just kind of imagine doing a little box. And again, as you get better, you can increase it to 8, 10, 12, whatever feels good for you. It's so, so powerful. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and talk about water, your body's next non-negotiable. Again, you can live for weeks without food, but only a few days without water. I want you to see water differently today, not just about hydration. Water is actually gives us that electricity. So I want you to think about when we're drinking water, every heartbeat, every muscle contraction, every nerve signal. It's all powered by these tiny electrical charges, and electricity isn't going to flow without the water. So think of your body like a house full of all this wiring, all these nerves, all this wiring, and water is the current that's going to allow those lights to switch on. And without it, you're going to have the circuits are going to short out and nothing's going to run the way that it should. So your body is somewhere between 60 to 70% water. What's that mean? It's like in your blood, your lymph. Every single cell is bathed in fluid. Your egg cells have a fluid. Your fertile mucus, your partner's sperm. There's so much of our body that needs water, that's made from water. And water carries electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium, and these act as the sparks, allowing the nerves to fire, the muscles to contract, your heart to beat. And without enough water or the right quality, which we're going to talk about next, the wires are not going to be able to conduct. They're going to short out. All right, that's when you can feel fatigue, headaches, brain fog, poor digestion. We need water for digestion and hormonal struggles. So all water is not created equal. So for example, tap water, depending on where you're at, we want to really try to get high quality water. And the other thing I want to just reinforce, you may or may not know, because I see it all the time still, is avoiding those plastic bottles. And a lot of us think of those plastic bottles of like, we swapped out and bought one of these like Stanley cups or these stainless steel cups or glass. But yet we'll go to work or in our home, instead of having a purification system, you'll have one of those big giant 5-gallon hard plastic water bottles that you're drinking from. We don't realize that that's plastic and it's secreting all those chemicals into our water that have been proven to disrupt our hormones, right? So we want to minimize plastic as much as possible in general, and especially anything that has plastic with heat. So what do you do? Really, one of the best options is to have a solid filtration system. And not a reverse osmosis, because reverse osmosis actually strips water of everything. And then sometimes they'll fortify it, they'll put it back in. But just having a really good purification system is going to be very helpful, whether you get one in your whole house or you get one underneath the sink. You definitely want to make sure that you're having that purified water that's going to remove as many toxins as possible and still preserve water in its most natural state. And the one way to amplify that is add a pinch of sea salt, because that's really going to energize the water, right? And it's going to help it absorb in your body more. And another secret, which I found very interesting, before you drink the water, you actually activate it by shaking the water, because that gets the molecules kind of moving and it activates the oxygen, the water, all the molecules in the water. When you shake it up, you'll see like the bubbles floating up. So it actually activates the water. So that's kind of a fun little trick you can do. So you don't have to put a pinch of salt in every single glass, but if you put it in 1 glass or 2 glasses a day, it's going to be really, really helpful for you. All right, so let's make this actionable. So here are a couple ways to upgrade your water game. I'm going to start with your morning ritual. Start your day with a tall glass of water, whether it's warm water with lemon or just really get a nice tall glass of water. It's going to wake you up. And if you add the lemon in there It's more hydrating and it helps wake up your digestive system. You can add a pinch of salt to one of your glasses of water, and remember to use glass or stainless steel bottles, right? Let's get rid of that plastic. So really, if you're a coffee drinker, I really want you to drink that water before. So when you wake up in the morning, you've gone many hours without any hydration. So your body is really dehydrated in the morning. So really, it's a great idea for first thing in the morning before your coffee or your tea or anything else is to drink some water. It's really easy to do. You get it in right away. I want you to turn that water into a non-negotiable, just like brushing your teeth. Okay. All right, so let's pause for a moment and think back to yesterday. How much water did you drink? Was it from a filter? Was it from plastic? Did you add minerals or any hydration? What's one small upgrade that you can do this week? Because that's how change begins, just one conscious choice at a time. Okay, so your assignment is to memorize, if you haven't already, the air we breathe, the water we drink, the foods we eat, the thoughts we think, the moves we make, and the words we speak. I want that to become your daily mantra, because it reminds you of how to take care of yourself. I want you to do this box breathing. Just do 5 to 10 breaths 3 times a day for the next week or the next 2 weeks. All right, and then I want you to smile while you're doing it. It's really important to celebrate and to smile all your wins. It tells your body, your brain, when you smile, ooh, that felt good. I want more of that. And that's going to just help you move further, faster. So, and then the third thing I want you to do is upgrade your water choice. Are you going to upgrade your home filter, avoid plastics? What is going to be your hydration dew power? What are you going to be doing with your hydration? All right, you've learned how the air you breathe and the water you drink are the foundation for energy, healing, and fertility. But this is just the beginning. So if you're ready to take this deeper, I'd love to invite you to a free fertility connection call. This is a free one-on-one session where I'll look at your unique journey, uncover what's holding you back, and map out a plan to help you feel safe, supported, and ready to bring life forward. This isn't a sales call. It's a chance for us to connect, for you to feel seen and heard, and for me to help you take the next step towards your goals. So if this feels aligned, you can grab your spot now. So before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to reflect on what's one thing you're committing to. Maybe it's practicing that diaphragmatic breathing. Maybe it's just becoming aware of your breath, upgrading your water, or maybe booking your fertility connection call with me. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down, because what we write, we invite, and take action today, whether that's making a plan or actually doing something. Write it down and take action today. Because again, these small, consistent shifts are what's going to create those big, beautiful results.